right, all right. I think I'm here. Welcome, everybody. Great day. My name is Coach Lyte, and I want to first give a shout out to Sister Jennifer for putting on a wonderful event here. And today's topic is right the wow factor, the wild in your life. Right? Yes, you're going to hear things from a different perspective of wow and wild. Right? Because I want you to grab your pens. I want you to take a moment to just get yourself excited and enthused for the next maybe 12 to 13 minutes. So the key two words you're going to hear today is wow and wild. Okay, wow and wild. Yes. How do you say wow and wild? WOWWILD, and that stands for something. Yes, because we're going to be talking about what I love doing, as well as your wellness, your optimism, and your wealth. So again, the two magic words of today is the wow and the wild factor of you. So thank you for being here. If you're tuning in online, if you are putting things in the chat, just leave that message, show some love, some likes, however you can get to do that. Put that out into the world, into the universe. So, and we live in a technology age, right? I'm a dad, I'm an entrepreneur, and right, I'm a clinician, I'm a life coach, right? Those are all the things about me, but this is all about you guys. And I want to just say that because I started off saying I'm a dad. If you hear my young champion in the background, coughing, sneezing, doing anything that a young 10-year-old going to be 11 in about a week and a half do, blame it on the dad, not on the child. All right. So as we get started, right, we're going to jump into that, into one of those W's of that wow factor. Yes, I said we're going to start with the wellness, right? Because guess what? We're going to talk about that serotonin, that happiness factor, right? You've heard all these terms in the past, but you might not have known exactly what it means and what it does for you, right? So I want to jump into the wellness factor of it, right? The the healthy aspects of who we are, right? Those aspects, that the chemicals that get released in us, right? That's called our serotonin, right? That part, that's our happy factor, right? And on the counter side of it, when it's not operating, we shut down, right? We shut down. But then guess what? There's something that also within us from a chemical side of life that gives us energy. We usually call it the sugars, right? But guess what? It's the insulin within us, right? Sometimes we get that from an external component, but that stuff is, all of these things are naturally a part of us. You're going to hear my presentation be very upbeat with a lot of energy. That is on purpose, right? That is intentional. It is on purpose, right? It's intentionally, it's on purpose, right? Because you know what? Right? That's my drive, right? That's the drive. That's my adrenaline. That's the adrenaline coming through me. Yes, you heard it, right? Again, I told you I'm going to talk about the chemicals parts of our success, as well as I'm going to jump into some other aspects of it. So I already shared about the serotonin, right? The insulin, right? And the adrenaline. Like those are the main factors, right? Now, we know, right? Those are the three factors that keep us pumped up, right? So pumped up, right? Wild and wild, right? Why I'm sharing that? Because it's essential, right? There are two other chemicals within us, right, that keep us reserved, that are part of our chemical components of success, which are melatonin, right? Those are the parts that allows us to go memes, sleep, yes, right? And then there's one other piece, right? That's the part that controls our blood pressure, right? That's our cortisol levels, right? So those are the parts that keeps us in a certain level of how we actually stay balanced, right? That's the part that keeps us kind of like laid back in the flow of how we do things. Now, I've just shared with you about the chemical components that make up, right, the aspects of us being successful. But you know what? I'm going to jump into the most essential piece of all of that, right? That activates all of it. Yes, I got to jump into the O of it. Your daughter's going to just go into the other W. No, there's a bridge, right? There's an infinite circle. There's a bridge. I like to call it the O factor, right? O positive, right? optimistic nature, right? Optimism, right? That's the enthusiasm, right? That's the attitude. Usually when we hear attitude from an aspect of like this attitude as this thing of, oh, ooh, brr, right? But he's laughing in the background, right? But attitude is connected to mindset. Mindset is part of the program that has us moving forward, right? So how are we seeing things in life, right? How are you seeing it? Now, we're not just speaking about this Pollyanna, like everything is, you know, like the Smurfs, la, 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 la. We're not speaking about that factor, right? We're talking about optimism from a point of saying, hey, I'm identifying what's really going on right now and possible. How can I take this 100 to 1,000? How can I take this right now? Even if you might say, you know what, right now is not the best. I'm feeling a little bit down in my cortisol. The melatonin's kicking in. I'm kicking in. Whoa, hold on. I just got back up. Y'all see me? I just kind of slugged down for a second. I told you it's going to be a high energy presentation. There are moments where we may not feel the most optimal, right? But I'm talking about in those moments, about in reality, when life is happening, right? We know what's going on. It's a lot of things going on in the world that I'd rather not, and I choose not to speak about. Why? Because I'm not giving those things more life than it already has in existence. I hope you guys are listening to what I'm sharing, right? Because this is a part of the optimism factor. Okay, that which we speak into, we actually give more life to, right? So, and the factors of like what we say about it. So, things may not be working as how we imagine it to be. Yet, if we can see that greater is possible, right? If greater is possible, then it's the possibility and the opportunity that we get to live into. So, we spoke about. I'm speaking about optimism, and again, right? Shout outs to Sister Jennifer for putting on this beautiful event. But the mindset and the attitude of optimism is something that I like to say that it has been part of our blueprint since the design of who we are as human beings, where we get to create our future. So, you know what? You see it's on the hat, optimistic mastermind. Had to give myself a powerful plug, right? You heard how I shared. I said a positive plug instead of the words that we use create the worlds that we live into, right? So now I'm going to ask you a question. What are the words that you're using? What are 3 words that you're using right now that build you, that make you feel optimal, right? Now, earlier when I first started this presentation, I said this is the wild factor, right? Now, what are you saying to yourself that you enjoy, that you like, and most important, that you love, right, doing? So I shared with you, I'm getting ready to jump into that third W, right? And it's like wow 2 point, squared, excuse me. Okay? What I love doing. Wild. What I love doing. Wild. Right? What I love doing. Wild. Now, that's a reframe of the word wild, because usually when we think wild, we think of it like all over the place, unkept, right? Yeah, you probably heard him in the background for a moment because he's a little wild, right? Pun intended. So that's when you get to plus yourself, right? Pun intended. So as I'm sharing this again with you, what I love doing, that's the question I ask you. I'm asking of you. I love doing what? Right? Now that's as an action, because I said wow. So we're gonna be action, right? We're gonna be in action about this. But what do I love doing? Now I just asked it as a question, right? What do you love doing? See, I asked myself that question years ago, right? And I want you guys to all, if you're listening, I want you to be present for a moment. I want you to take a piece of paper. I want you to write down 5 things that you enjoy doing. And I also want you to pay attention to your mindset, because we're going to rewind just a little bit, because I want you to pay attention right now. And I want you to be honest with yourself, right? If you heard yourself go to an opposite of what you love, right? I want you to clap your hands, right? Clap your hands, right? Right? Clap your hands, okay? I want you to turn up, right? I want you to turn up, right? Your adrenaline. I want you, right, to get that insulin in your body, right? Up, right? Get them sugars in you, right? And then I want that serotonin, right? I want that happiness factor. Hey, right? I want you to channel all of that. I want you to channel all of that in this moment, right? To connect to what I love doing. Now, you might say, hold on, coach. You know what? It's been a minute. It's been a while. I forgot what I love doing. Because why? We're working, these children, these kids, right? Right? We're so busy taking care of others, our loved ones, right? Or you may be doing something that you enjoy, but you know, it doesn't quite connect or feel the same way it did. Why? Because you may feel like something is missing. So I want you to ask yourself, this question, because I told you that's an action, like, whoa, what I love doing, right? Boom, that's a statement, right? And I ask you to ask the question, right? What do I love doing? Now, I told you to get that list. Now I want you to tap into the number part of you. I want you to write down things that you love doing. Even if you can't think of things that you love right now, I want you to think of things that you used to love doing. Right? Right? I want you to reminisce for a moment. Things that brought you, brought joy and happiness. That's serotonin again. Okay? And I want you to feel it, right? I want you to feel it again. I want you to feel it. In this moment too, I want you to put your hand over your heart. I want you to feel your heart, right? And I want you to say, wow. You heard him in the back. He said, wow, right? Wow. I want you to feel your heart. I want you to feel the energy within you, right? Because guess what? That's the sugar, right? I said the energy. You never thought about the sugar running through your heart, running through your whole body. I'm having fun with this because earlier today, my son had a lollipop. Him and his cousin, they was hanging out, right? Daddy stuff. And it took a minute for him to regulate, right? For him to regulate himself. But I'm asking you to turn yourself up and regulate yourself, right? Right now. I want you to think about this. Now, grab your pen because I'm going to give you some things. I told you I was going to talk about the wealth for you. Now, when you tap into all of these components, it's easy to then lock into the things that you love because it's easy to, we think wealth, we think monetization, right? We think of prosperity, we think about, right, finances, we think about money, right? So before you can produce anything in the real world from a monetary standpoint, we actually have to be able to tap into, right, that energy, that currency, that flow. You heard me? Energy, currency, flow. Energy, flow, currency. Currency is better known as what? Right? We call it money. Okay? So I want you to think about this. Yes, some of you guys may have heard this before, but this is a reminder of it. It's like, hold on. Wow. Whoa. Wow. May not have thought about it that same way. Or you might say, hey, coach, you know what? Thanks for reminding me. So I'm going to ask you right now, grab your pen. Because I'm about to give out maybe, let's see. Hey, son, should I give them 7 tips or 10 tips? 7 to 10. Give me a number. 10. He said 10. 11. He said 11. All right. So listen, guys. I'm about to give you 11 tips, right? To move forward in your wealth. Okay? So I want you to stand for your vision, right? I want you to stand for your vision. What that means is stand for your vision. Stand for what you see in your heart. That, again, what I love doing. I want you to stand for what you love, right? Right? Now that was the first one. Number 2, I want you to think of, what am I willing to give up to have for my life that I ultimately desire, right? What am I willing to give up, right, to have a connection to my future? So what is taking up the space, right? What is taking up the space in the face of what you love right now? Okay, so, right, physics says, right, 2 physical things can't exist in the same space. So I want you to think about what is blocking you from pursuing what you love and what's amazing about you? Okay. And number 3, come on, I'm gonna turn you back up again, right? Are you willing to jump in the middle of everything that's going on and have it turn out to exactly what that outcome is? So I talked to you about optimism, right? Are you willing to jump in and say, hey, guess what? This is what I love, and I'm going to pursue it. Right? Jump into it. Jump into the conversation. Right? Jump into, you know what? This is what it is. This is how I'm going to make it happen. Okay? Now, here's another piece. We spoke about optimism and being realistic. Okay? So physical results, right? Physical results are real. I know that sounds absolute, right? I mean, right? Simple. But physical results are real things. Just like rocks are hard, water is wet. Okay? Physical results, right? Right now, you see the lights are on. Now watch this. Lights are off. Lights are on. Right? Lights are off. Lights are on. That's what it is. So you're either producing results or you're not. Now, so we talked about lights, but I want you to have a clear vision, right? Have a clear vision. So when the lights are on, then you have a clear vision, things are clearer, right? Now, also, I want you to make sure that you have measurable results as well as a game plan, okay? Now, we spoke about that energy level. I want you to be able to be mindful of your motion. Be honest with yourself again, right? Rate your motion. You know what? I need to get some physical stuff going on here. I got to hit that gym, right? Get your mind. Get your mind. Gym. Give you another one. That was a bonus. Okay? Now, details. Okay? I want you to handle your circumstances of what's going on. Now, circumstances mean there's some things that you may be out of let's put a word out here, out of integrity, something that you may have gave your word to that you might not have kept it. I want you to get in communication, right? Because when you get in communication with things that may have been holding you back and holding you down, then that actually allows you to move forward with power, with energy, right? So in that space, I want you to continue, right, to look at, hey, there may be some people. First, start with yourself now. Some people I gave my word to, myself, because I love doing XYZ, but I stopped doing ABC because now I'm distant between ABC and XYZ because it all starts with ME, right? Those are some letters that's in between ABC and XYZ, okay? Then you fill in all the rest. So remember, I want you to handle your circumstances, right? Before your circumstances handle you, okay? Now, throughout all of this, I'm inviting you to be disciplined and persistent, okay? So discipline and persistence are pillar. They are at the base, right? That is part of the cement of that base, right? You want to call it that basement of your house, your structure, to move you forward so that you can have that wild house, right? Right? So that then you can have that wild party. Y'all heard what I said, right? You can have that house on the outside that's wow, hey, right? And then guess what? You can celebrate with the people that you love inside in your backyard, right? And you can have that wild, right, party, because what I love doing, right, is celebrating with the people that matter most to me. And most importantly, right, you can celebrate with yourself first. So, it's been an honor to have all of you guys here listening, as well as more than ever, it's been a great honor to be here with you guys presenting. So again, right, the magic question of today is what I love doing, right? You can say it as a you can make it as a statement. What I love doing is, you can use it as an affirmation. What I love doing, right, as a confirmation, and you can list it out. And now, again, I told you, I want you to touch your heart. I want you to feel it, right, as well. Remember those chemicals for success, right? That serotonin, that melatonin, that right, that insulin within you, right? That cortisol and that adrenaline. And I would love for you guys to all stay optimistic. Remember to avoid being average. And Sister Jennifer, thank you again for hosting such a beautiful event and having me as a guest here. I'm honored. It's a delight. It's a pleasure. Peace and blessings. Until next time.